And again, you have been doing it for so many years. I'm sure you have gradually, kept the humans out of it.
We are using robots, but we also have humans to do some of the, picking the product out and packaging it. And I was looking at garlic pickles, and then I saw a chili pickle as well,
Yeah.
right? So, and then I saw a package to buy both together, right? And get a discount. So I bought both of them. They're very fluent with language. So they're able to be very conversational, just like, when you interact with a large language model, it feels like you're talking to a human, right? So they naturally have conversational abilities.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Our Own Devices. This time we are going to talk about ML, and strangely, you don't hear a lot about machine learning these days because everybody is talking about AI. Though they are interconnected and maybe one leads to the other. We'll get into a deep dive on that, learning from the experiences of one of those companies which is using this quite a bit, and that's Amazon. So, to speak about what Amazon is doing with machine learning, we have with us Rajiv Rastogi, who is the Vice President of International Machine Learning at Amazon. Uh, Rajiv, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Nandagopal, for having me. Um, Super excited to be here.
So if you could just start by sort of, because there's a lot of confusion around AI and ML. People use it interchangeably. How would you sort of define the two?
So machine learning is actually a subset of AI. So it's a set of techniques that leverage historical and past patterns in data to make predictions about the future. So that's what machine learning is. It's really, it looks at data, finds patterns, and tries to make predictions about the future. Example of machine learning in action is if a product title, for example, contains keywords like jeans or jacket, then it belongs the product belongs to an apparel category. Similarly, if the title contains keywords like laptop, for example, it belongs to the electronics category. So machine learning finds such patterns and correlations between what you're trying to predict and patterns in the data like keywords and so on. And AI uses machine learning. It could use other techniques as well, but it uses machine learning, which is very popular and has delivered a lot of results. It uses that to kind of get machines to become as intelligent as humans. So to get machines to do the kinds of things humans can do. It could be translating language. It could be finding objects and images. It could be reasoning, it could be having conversations and so on. So AI is, the broad umbrella for actually getting machines to be as intelligent as humans.
So at Amazon, I guess you guys would have been one of the pioneers of looking at this technology, right? Because
Yeah,
you have a lot of use cases and you have the scale, which sort of keeps on teaching the system how to get better and better, right?
that's exactly right. I mean, we were pioneers in machine learning. In the mid 90s itself, we had come up with very scalable recommendation algorithms based on a technology called collaborative filtering. And what this did was it identified products that were frequently co-purchased together and
Yeah.
then recommended to a customer, based on what the customer may have bought in the past, other products that are very frequently co-purchased with
Yeah.
what the customer has bought
Yes.
in the past, right? To define similarity between products as how frequently they are co-purchased. And now you recommend similar products to what the customer has purchased in the past. And so this was something that was done at the scale of, hundreds of millions of products in the mid 90s, right?
Yeah.
And fast forward now, machine learning is ubiquitous in our stores business, right? It is at the core of stores business. It powers, you know, every step of the customer journey on Amazon. So just think of the customer coming onto Amazon, searching for a sari, right? A machine learning is what's there at the core, ranking the search results and the products in response to the query, right? Trying to show you relevant products. Now the customer clicks on a product, goes to on a product page. All the content there is again vetted by machine learning. So, for example, if there is an image that is of poor quality or an image that doesn't comply with Amazon guidelines in terms of having a white background, our machine learning algorithms detect those sorts of those images, and they inform sellers that they've got to you know um, improve the images or upload new images that are of higher quality. We use machine learning to backfill missing attribute values. So, for example, sometimes when a seller uploads a product, they may forget, or they may miss out on uploading certain attributes like color or material, and we are able to use machine learning again to extract attributes like color from the product image. So, for example, there's a dress, an image of a dress. I think you can use machine learning there to extract the color of the dress, the pattern of the dress. So we use computer vision algorithms here. Uh, in fact, we use LLMs, large language models, that leverage both images and text together to try and retrieve all these attribute values and backfill them in the catalog when they're missing or when they're not, or sometimes sellers may even give incorrect values. And this capability, we also use it to make it easy for sellers to list products. So, using this technology, sellers just have to upload an image and one or two descriptive keywords, and our machine learning technology will automatically populate all the attributes. And the reason it's important to have these attributes is because a lot of times customers will give a broad query like sari,
Yeah.
and now they want to maybe then refine their search results, because with a broad query like that, you're going to get hundreds of thousands of results, right? Products. So
Yeah.
customers may then say, okay, just show me red saris.
Yeah.
And for that, we need to know which saris were read in our
Right.
catalog, right?
Yeah.
So not having those values sort of in the catalog makes it difficult for customers to narrow down the products that they are interested in.
Mm.
So we use machine learning to automatically, fill these attributes. Now you place an order for the product, our machine learning algorithms actually forecast what the demand of every product is going to be, right? And we place orders for those products in advance, so those products are available when customers need them, right? And here these forecasts need to be very accurate. If you forecast the demand to be too high, then we are going to be stuck with excess inventory, and that has a cost of storage in our warehouses. If we forecast the demand to be too low, then the product would be out of stock, and that
Yeah.
would be a poor customer experience. And then once the customers place the order, the product now is packaged in our fulfillment center. Now there's decisions to even decide what packaging to use for each product is
Yeah.
made using machine learning.
Yeah.
So we use machine learning models to predict, if I use this packaging for this product, is it going to get damaged, right? And then we choose the packaging type that will minimize the total cost of packaging plus the concessions or the damage costs because of damaged shipments.
Okay.
The packaging cost is also important here. We want to, again, choose a packaging type that is cheap, but will also not result in damages.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if we use a very robust packaging type, it's very expensive. So it increases the packaging costs. It may bring down the damage costs.
Yeah.
And if we use a very cheap and expensive packaging type, it will increase the damage costs and bring down the packaging costs. So there's a trade-off here between packaging costs and damage costs.
Yeah.
And our machine learning models help us find the optimal packaging that will reduce the sum of these costs, right? And finally, the product gets delivered to your home. And there again, in India, addresses are, unstructured. They're also incomplete many times. We've
Yeah.
actually seen addresses on Amazon .in which just say near Orion Mall, Malleswaram, Bangalore, or
Yeah.
near, bus stand, Shivaji Chowk, Nagpur, or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to deliver with such incomplete addresses, right? So here again, we use machine learning technology to identify these incomplete and poor quality addresses that are difficult to locate and deliver to,
Yeah.
right? Uh, and the technique there is actually we compute something called address deliverability scores. And coming to the fact that the point about having a lot of data, we have data about every address to which we have successfully delivered a package. And
Mm.
so now any address comes in, we can compare it with this database of addresses to which we have successfully delivered packages. And addresses that are similar to these addresses, we know are good addresses.
Yeah.
Addresses that are
Okay.
complete, quite dissimilar to these addresses, we know that those addresses could be problem addresses, right? So all the data we have actually helps us provide a better service and streamline our service, make it more efficient, and make it a more delightful experience for customers to shop on Amazon.
So in this entire flow that you explained, is there human intervention at any stage, or human oversight, or given the kind of scales that you operate in, that's almost impossible now. And again, you have been doing it for so many years. I'm sure you have gradually, kept the humans out of it.
I mean, humans come in at some points. I mean, of course, ranking of search results. There are no humans involved there.
Mhm. Yeah.
Humans do come in when we are packing uh, uh, products. So there are, in our warehouses, we
Yeah.
have humans there sometimes to pick. We are using robots, but we also have humans to do some of the, picking the product out and packaging it, and humans deliver the
Yeah.
product. The last mile
So,
delivery is
yeah.
also human. So we have humans in our warehouses and for delivering the product and so on. Yeah.
No, no, I meant more from the flow, which is
Right.
mostly handled by ML. Do you need a human oversight at times to ensure that, like, okay, that that red shirt, the ML
Yeah.
is it right that it's red, it's not maybe a shade of pink, So
Yeah.
is there some kind of oversight you apply once in a while?
Yeah. I mean, there will be with our machine learning algorithms, you will at times do audits to see how the quality, how the machine learning models are performing. Uh, uh, at times, you'll get feedback from customers. They do the audits for you. I mean, so a customer will see a defect. They'll see something like a product with the blue color in the title and a
Yeah,
uh, pink colored dress in the image, and they'll flag that to
yeah,
us. We allow customers to provide
right.
feedback when they have a poor experience or they see some defects and so on. So we
Mm.
get feedback of that kind, and humans do look at that. And then we have auditors, right? I mean, who look at, like, for example, when I talked about the search ranking. We have humans who will look at the ranking. Not all of them, but we'll choose a random sample and look at the results, right? To see, are we showing the right results? Are we making mistakes? What sort of mistakes are we making to keep iterating and improving the algorithms?
Yeah. You also mentioned how you use ML to sort of predict the kind of demand you would have, and I think this is at the base of your quick commerce strategy, right? Like which you're rolling out in some parts of the world, and you're maybe going to deliver stuff in 5 minutes, but that's because you have an understanding that maybe in this part of New York you have the requirement for a certain thing happening on a certain, like, frequency. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, to place our orders, to order the products, right? I mean, from suppliers and vendors, we
Mhm.
need to know the demand.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, knowing the demand can also help us plan better, right? So if we knew that at this time there's going to be especially for quick delivery and
Yeah.
sub-hour delivery and so on, having an idea, more accurate forecasts of where we may get, where which part of the city you may get what sort of demand will help you plan better,
Yeah.
right? I mean, making sure that you have adequate personnel and staff in the areas where there may be a demand spike, right? For example, there's a cricket match going on, and knowing that, you know, there could be a lot of demand coming from there of people placing
Yeah.
orders for chips or whatever, right? And
Yeah.
so that's helpful in your logistics.
The the other thing is like you mentioned how the frequently brought together feature
Right.
was something that you had for a long time. But I guess at least for me, that's one feature that I use a lot, and I end up buying things that I did not plan to buy. So it's not just from a fulfillment perspective; it's also improving. I don't know if it's the right word in e-commerce, but it's improving your conversions. It's improving it's actually it's an upsell in a way, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's also about customers. Uh, for instance, like just yesterday, I bought I was looking at garlic pickles and then I saw a chili pickle as well,
Yeah.
right? So, and then I saw a package to buy both together, right? And get a discount. So I bought both of them. And, earlier I would have probably only had the garlic pickle. Now I get to maybe sample the chili pickle, and that may be, even better. So at some level, it's about trying to give customers a better experience, right? I mean, and and surface to them things that they could get, that could delight them.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's also another way of looking at it. You want satisfied customers, right? It's great if somebody was looking for a certain book and then you showed them five other books, right? That I mean, those would be gems perhaps for them to know that okay, there were these books on these topics, and they may find some of those books to be extremely relevant to what they're interested in, right? So that could be, very enriching for customers.
Is there a personalization angle to this? Like, because it can technically lead to personalization at scale, right? Because every customer can
Yeah.
see an on homepage that is unique. Are you there yet, or is it like a hybrid kind of a thing where you would promote some things and some things would be based on what the customer's earlier habit has, behavior
Yeah.
has been?
So we do use personalization, uh, and we do try to personalize uh, recommendations to customers. And one example I was talking about is Indian customers have very strong regional preferences. A customer in Gujarat searching for a sari may be interested in a bandhani, but while a customer based in Karnataka may be more interested in a Mysore silk, right? So what we do is we take the regional popularity of products and include that as a feature in search ranking. So our results end up showing customers uh, products that are more relevant in the region or more popular in the region. And those get surfaced to customers. So this is a sort of personalization based on a customer's location, right? So
Yeah.
depending on where you're issuing the search query from, we'll show you, some variations in the search results based on the products that are popular in your region, right? There's also other ways of personalizing based on your past products that you purchased and so on, right? Even in the case where the recommendations to customers in many cases are based on products that they have purchased and then other products that are similar to the products they have purchased. or that, products that have been co-purchased very
Yeah.
frequently with products they have purchased, and those would get recommended. So that's also a sort of personalization, because we're looking at what you purchased and then trying to show you more other products that were co-purchased a lot with what you purchased in the past, right? So that's also a form of personalization.
And you also know things that you might need now, right? Because if you bought something which maybe expires in 30 days or is used up in 30 days, at the end of that period, you can say, hey, you want to buy this again? Like,
Yeah, yeah. So we have a bite again feature where we,
Yeah.
know that there are some products that tend to have a repeat purchase pattern.
Yeah.
So we would know when you purchase, say, toothpaste, and
Yeah.
we kind of know, like, when that you're going to be out of toothpaste, and so we would
Yes. Yeah.
recommend it to you. Yeah.
The other thing I want to ask you is how does Gen AI now come into the picture? Because obviously Amazon is also working on Gen AI on multiple fronts, but from an e-commerce perspective, how does that work?
Yeah. So Gen AI, at some level, it's sort of at the core, it's neural networks. They're transformers, right? So that they're essentially very large neural networks that are trained on massive amounts of data, or collected on the internet. And the two distinguishing things about Gen AI. And if I talk about, let me talk about large language models first, and then I'll talk about Gen AI as well. So large language models are trained on massive amounts of text data
Yeah.
collected from the internet, right? So these large language models have two capabilities which really distinguish them. One is they capture world knowledge. They capture a lot of the knowledge about the world because they have been trained on a huge amount of data that's crawled from the internet. And second, they're very fluent with language. So they're able to be very conversational. Just like, when you interact with a large language model, it feels like you're talking to a human, right? So they naturally have conversational abilities, and they have a lot of world knowledge, like all the common sense information, facts sort of captured in those large language models, right? And there are ways to augment the knowledge of the large language models with additional knowledge stores and so on. So that becomes you know uh, a a very powerful capability to build conversational systems, chatbots for various kinds of things, right? So you can imagine for travel, for shopping, for troubleshooting products, um, uh, product problems that you may have, just general questions about products.
Yeah.
You may want to know what is a better type of paint, matte finish or a gloss finish, and it'll be able to give you in a conversational
Yeah.
setting,
Yeah.
right? So I think Gen AI, and then you come to Gen AI, which is a superset of large language models. Large language models are more into generating text. Gen AI can generate all sorts of data, right? Images and um, uh, uh, even videos, right? We are now seeing Gen AI that can take text prompts as input and generate an entire video. So that Gen AI is going to just enable a whole new set of use cases and applications. You can imagine, us creating educational videos about products
Yeah.
using Gen AI, right? And in fact, that's one of the things that we have even launched using LLMs and Gen AI techniques to generate short product videos that highlight key aspects of a product. Uh, Gen AI can generate a complete listing, and that's the application I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Sellers just need to upload an image and a few keywords, and we'll create a high quality listing, right? No more of inputting 100 plus attributes of a product, all that cumbersome, time consuming, laborious effort goes away, right, through Gen AI. So Gen AI is going to completely transform the way humans interact with machines. And instead of an offline shopkeeper, you will have an online shopkeeper that you could ask exactly the same questions. Like, you go to an offline store to buy a TV, right? And you interact with the shopkeeper, and you can have that same experience online, right?
Yeah.
Except that it's going to be Gen AI, powered by Gen AI.
And it's going to be a much more intelligent shopkeeper who has so
Yeah,
much context that humans have
absolutely.
accumulated over
Yeah, that's a
million
great
years.
point. That's a great point. It's not only going to match that shopkeeper, but it's going to exceed that shopkeeper
Okay. Yeah.
by a huge amount, because again, I think we should be careful here, because machines do
Yeah.
hallucinate. I think
Yeah.
LLMs do have a problem of hallucination. They're not perfect. They could give wrong information and so on.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to say, at this point, they will excel compared to humans in certain areas, and humans will excel in certain areas.
Yeah.
In terms of accurate, of course, humans also make mistakes,
Yeah.
but Gen AI also makes egregious mistakes, right? But the fact is, it's going to start. You're going to start getting those experiences, um, and they're going to be pretty good because of the power that Gen AI has.
So on this note, a note that says that your shopping experience at least is going to change tremendously over the coming months. We don't know what pace, because that's how AI is. It could happen maybe next week, but for sure it's going to change. You might not need a specific query. You could just think about something, and the suggestion should come from Amazon. Hey, this is what is the right product for you. Yeah, and you don't even know what to ask, right? So on that note, I think Rajiv, thanks for being on the show. It's been wonderful having you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and enjoy the conversation.
Yeah,
Thanks a
thank
lot.
you. It is our pleasure. You were listening to Rajiv Rastogi of Amazon. We'll be back again with another guest and a lot more insight. Till then, goodbye.